Welcome to this little show we call the Dragon's Tome. My name's Jack, and these are my compatriots. Say hello.
Hello.
Oh, hello. I thought you were going
Hmm.
to say a name, and then you were like, say hello. It sounded like you were edited. I like cut your voice.
Oh, like when I say hello, and then I would generally say hello. Say hello, Pat.
Yeah.
Hello.
So
Is
hey,
it
say hello,
me you're
Rob.
looking for?
Hello. Don't get us banned off of YouTube with your singing.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
we'll
right.
have Paul in editing put that together. No one will ever know.
I don't want,
That'll look seamless.
definitely don't want Lionel Richie coming after me.
Or his daughter.
That's my song.
When he does, he will drop down from upon the ceiling.
Yep. His dancing is capoeira.
Okay, let's get to the point of this
Oh,
show.
oh
What
yeah.
we're doing
We're on
is
the show.
we're reading Dragon magazines. We started at one. We're working our way all the way up. It's a little labor of love. We're the Patreon money dried up. We don't get Patreon anymore. Hence the massive beard, and we don't monetize. So this is just us being kooky.
Oh, I'm sure there's ads probably. YouTube does that.
Hasn't been an ad yet.
I haven't seen an ad yet, but I don't know if you've enabled them or not.
You also have ad blockers, I'm sure.
Oh, that's
No, I don't. Not when I'm not on the television. Wish I did. YouTube's gotten pretty gregarious. Now it's like five ads in a row. Some of them are 30
yeah.
seconds long,
Oh, that's
unskippable. They've got a
filthy.
whole. They've gone too far. They've
don't
gone too
don't
far.
insult the mothership.
Oh, I mean the platform we are currently on
We love
is
you, YouTube.
yeah. I
Please, please.
quite frankly, with a couple shekels this way would
I
be
would I wouldn't
wonderful.
know what to do without those ads in my life.
It's what makes me get up in the morning. The YouTube ads. Honestly, how else would I know to 1-800 junk?
It's true.
Anyway,
Uh,
so look at the cover of this magazine, 116. What do you boys think about this?
I think
This
I,
uh looking at it at first I was like, huh, it's okay. It's a decently painted fig.
yeah, I thought it was
But
a
then I
miniature.
read, but then I read the cover and realized that this thing is a ginormous sculpture.
Yep. I thought it was a miniature too. It's by Peter J. Bottis. Uh, Botsis. Yeah, I thought it was miniature too, but he said it's a huge diorama and it's multiple feet long. So
And all hand sculpted too, which is very
yeah,
impressive. I would like to see the whole thing.
yeah,
It
like
would
it's a
be
little too
nice.
artistic. I think they should have had in the magazine the actual picture of the actual full thing.
Yeah, and then some other I remember
Mhm.
some gal put the smoke in there and
Yeah, yeah.
photoed it.
We could probably look at her name. Her
Yeah,
name was Sue Weller. Photographed it.
Yeah,
I was perfectly happy with this amount, but now that you've said it, if it was a giant diorama, maybe, and I'm not the editor, maybe find some space to show, oh, this is the whole thing.
Unless
it
this
would
is
have
the
been
only good
nice.
part. Maybe the rest looks like crap, and this is the only good
Well,
part.
I would like to think that the whole thing looks alright because it is
Yeah.
put together pretty good. The bone is painted very nicely.
And the
It's got good
scales.
detail in the face. Yeah, so
Yeah, to know it's all hand sculpted too. Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Just on the outskirts, you're saying that it's like taxidermied frogs mounting an attack with small medieval arms, and they're like, ah,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. Maybe there's some racist elements that were like, let's not show that part.
Okay, yes, let's not even speak of that.
Peter
Um,
J. Botsis. Sorry we insulted you, but if you do have a picture, please send us a link
oh yeah. I mean,
from beyond the grave.
usually we
from
assume that he's
the,
dead.
or you can send us through the GhostTube app.
Yeah,
Seer. You can send pictures.
if any of your kin are listening,
Yeah, any of your
and
descendants.
and
Contact us
and
through a
Uncle
medium.
and Uncle Pete left you a picture of it, please point it out.
Yeah, we're not above seances if that's what it takes.
Yeah, that's right. We'll do some table tipping.
Okay, speaking of tipping the table, young Pat, let's start with these
Ooh.
articles.
Oh,
What in this magazine piqued your interest?
we are going to go to page double one.
Is that 11?
That's 11.
We don't speak your languages.
Maritime Adventures.
This is that's just the highlight. Are you doing the high seas one?
Yes, into the high sea ones.
Yeah, that's the this was one of mine too.
Yeah, this was actually a really nice article relating to sailing, mostly revolving around the age of sail. I thought it was very informative as far as terms and generic pecking order of ship personnel. If you didn't know any of that, uh,
Yep.
those have all since changed. I think,
Wow, they're probably
as in modern Navy.
yeah. Back in the day,
maybe-
those are
Yeah.
yeah all the different
and-
ships.
Yeah, and I liked there's a lot of information on the different types of ships, even all the way going back into the BC eras when they're talking about triremes and galleys and stuff.
Yep.
But I did say while it was packed with ton of information, it was extremely long.
Well, that's what I thought. This is pretty much a whole ship supplement for AD&D.
Yeah.
It should have been, I said, aquatic survival guide. But eventually there is something in the second edition. I didn't even know it existed. There is a ship supplement, not by
There
this
is.
person.
In
But,
second edition, I remember because we had one, because we had it because we ended up commandeering a ship, and that was kind of like our base operations for a while before it got sunk.
This is by Margaret Foy, this article, but the other one's by some dude.
But I think there's a few different nautical.
Oh yeah, that's why the
Articles.
Maritime Adventures is the section. It's like the special attraction in this one. So
Yeah.
there's quite a few nautical ones, but that was the same as mine was the high seas supplement because, like I said, this could have been a whole book because it is literally like I don't know
Yeah.
20 pages of.
But as for AD&D and first edition or D&D and first edition at this point, great information.
If you're going to run a campaign in which you're on a boat, to have at least some of the nomenclature down to know what a poop deck is, who's in charge of certain things.
What a boat swing is.
Yeah, as a primer to make the world immersive, this was
Yeah,
I
even if
would
you have
say
a
essential.
dock town or a big trading port town.
And just general knowledge, it's pretty interesting. Anyways,
Yeah, I mean, I'm into sailing, as you guys know, but so this was actually kind of nice to see and read.
they even have
So-
a wind table, so you can have hurricane force winds and stuff.
Yeah, and your turns as to hard to port, backwater, blah blah blah.
And ship damages. It is
I'd
literally
bought
a
this.
supplement. Yeah.
So, but that's high seas.
Excellent. So, Rob, what's your article? Your first article?
That would have been mine, but we'll go to my second one here because it's similar because it's on page 54, I believe. 54, yes. It's High Seas in 3D. It's the papercraft boat that makes up this whole
I
article.
thought we
here.
were going to just skip right over this thing.
We skipped over the last papercraft one, so I wanted to make sure we mentioned it this time. And yeah, if you want to build a boat, you can build a boat. And in the very end of the magazine's all the colored sections, so you can print it
Say
out
what
or
kind of
cut
boat
it.
this is? Is this like just a regular galley or just
Does it say? I don't even know what it says.
Is it
or like a sloop?
is
Sloop?
it because of the fan outcry that we didn't discuss
Yes.
the dragon? There was a groundswell, a cottage industry of people lashing out at our papercraft dragon
Yeah. So
coverage.
this
So
is
is that the
yep. We got a papercraft. The actual boat. I'll go right to the end too to show the color pages because we got deck, a whole deck here. We got the mast and the actual boat itself. Do they have sails? I don't think they have sails.
No sails.
I guess it's just a white piece of paper. But there you go.
Why would you want to complicate a
Papercraft.
boat with sails?
Back in the day, I loved papercraft before there's things as 3D printing or, But I used to do some papercraft. I would have built a boat.
Rob
I
was
used
a
to
fan of papercraft.
Yeah, I used to build
It's,
terrain and stuff out of it.
and now we've progressed to what 3D printing. It's still the same hobby, the same building, the same. Just
Well, yeah.
didn't come free in a magazine.
And you didn't have to glue it to. Not a lot of glue involved in 3D. Well, I guess there is some glue involved in 3D printing. Not white glue. I miss white glue and glue sticks.
Okay, so you've chosen the papercraft boat. I think that's a coward's choice, and
I
I
got
don't
more.
know.
I got
I
like
think
20
it's
articles, Jack. We got
what?
all day here.
Oh my God! Then we better hurry up to mine. I'm going to skip my second just for brevity of movement, and we're going to go to 56, PDF 56, Rogue Stones and Gem Jumping.
I knew you were going to grab this one, so I left it alone.
Yes,
It's Big Greenwood.
Ed Greenwood, our esteemed colleague, friend of the pod, Doctor.
Long time listener, long time friend.
Yes, Doctor Professor Greenwood. And unlike some of his other articles where it would be a plethora of items, he would usually do like 10, 11 items. This is the one thing in particular and the mechanics around it. So this is to be brief, it is a gemstone that is imbued with something called a gem jumping ability. And what you would do is cast this spell on this gem, and then from that point, he says for centuries, it doesn't matter. The person who cast the spell would be able to appear, if not right on top of the gem, but in the closest proximity that would hold his shape, their shape. And it didn't matter from where they came, or if they were bound, or if they were some sort of imprisonment. And then he goes on to write all these instances where it was useful and how it was useful. And basically, if you were a some sort of lich, and you would have this as kind of a backdoor, escape plan, and it was one way, but you would trigger it. And if you were in the cornered by adventurers, or if your ship was sinking because your DM thought your headquarters on a ship had run its course, you could boop, and
Well,
you
they
would
also
be
they give examples of thieves using it too. Somebody takes it into their treasure vault, and then you teleport right into their treasure vault.
so yes, Mr.
It
Greenwood,
seems very powerful.
for a 6th level spell that the like, it gives components that are letters that I don't know what those letters are, but it is, unless those components are quite rare and valuable. Although you only need to make one.
Verbal hand gestures. I forget the word for hand gestures. Somatic, I think it is. And material. That's what all that is.
Yeah. So but
yeah, it was before there was actual components, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So it would be very helpful to have one.
And you need
never use it.
A very rare jewel called a rogue stone to do it. So you have to get that jewel first. So that's the hard bit.
Yes. That's
you can't make any rock in general into a magic rock.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's fun.
That was fun. So back to you, Pat. What's your second article?
Oh, let's go to page 31.
31.
Actually, it's B30.
It's B30?
It'd be 30.
Children of the Deep.
Children
You're all
of the
about
Deep.
You're all about the boats, aren't you?
Well, this one is different because this is an article on sea elves and how to use them as PCs in a D&D game instead of just a set of creatures to use.
Can they breathe outside of water?
Yes. Some of the things that it says too, it's funny that it says all the land elves look alike to them, but they don't have a deep sea. But yeah, so if you were an aquatic elf and you just went on land and you couldn't tell if you're looking at a high elf or a forest elf. But they don't have a deep-seated hatred for the drow, was what I read in this thing.
Because they don't tell the difference. They can't. They all look the same.
They just have a not a deep-seated hatred, but just like a general dislike. And it does talk about the things you can do and their weapons and their hated enemy, the Sahagin.
Are those
that's how I always pronounce it, Sahagin.
Yeah, they're like the fishmen, aren't they?
Yeah, they're the devil deep or deep devils they called them.
Yeah, if Innsmouth was a thing, that's where they'd live.
But I was looking at some of the different charts. I mean, they can only be, uh, they have all the general classes. They get bonuses for dexterity, but they lose one for. It's weird for me that they lose one for Constitution. I don't know if that's just being general elves, but if you live in the sea and you're adept at crushing, you would feel like your
I think
Constitution would
that's
be
an elf
higher.
thing. I think that's an elf thing. I think all elves had minus to Constitution
Yeah.
and plus to
So,
dexterity.
um, but I was looking at some of the weapon charts that they were talking about they could train in, and one of them was an undersea crossbow. And I was thinking to myself, isn't that just normally a spear gun?
Or a harpoon gun, yeah.
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 So, but
But
that's it. They also give stats for aquatic elf, half elf breeds. And
it's
Uh,
definitely if you were running a campaign before, they would say, okay, well, these are you could just you know fit elves into that and say, oh, they're sea elves, and you could write an adventure for that. But
yeah,
gone are the days where they claimed that these weren't PC characters. Now they boldly.
Yeah, I wonder what happened. I wonder who's no longer with the company.
Not that these need. The difference being these don't need to be official in a
No.
book, taking up
It's
space.
just if a
page
DM
count.
wants to do it, yeah.
yeah.
If the DM wants to do it, allow
Allows their
this,
player,
they can
yeah.
have it, and that's a
That's
not
what
a huge
the dragon I
change.
remember. That was what it was all about. There were so many.
The dragon, I remember back in my day,
Well, that's after this point. That's my point.
you just couldn't be all willy nilly CL.
There was
Who the hell
no,
wanted to
it's
be a CL
no, you
anyway?
could. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Anything dragon
Yeah,
was like, yeah, if the GM says sure, go for it. I think the aquatic elf / half elf shouldn't be called aquatic elf / half elf because it's aquatic
I think
elf
it's
/
weird.
elf.
Yeah.
It's not half elves. I was like, so is that a quarter elf? But
I
no,
would
it's
just call
actually
it half sea elf, right?
aquatic elf / land elf. Like that's what it should be called. But I think
Maybe
that's
you
a
could be
misprint.
a land air sea elf.
Air. Where's their air elves?
I don't know. I just made that up.
Well, when a
What about
aquatic elf and a human love each other very much, they would become a aquatic half elf.
Yeah,
But
that's
if
the
it
other
was- But if it was a elf and a
aquatic elf?
aquatic elf,
Then it's just an elf, but it's just
Sea la-
slightly wet.
That would
Land
just
elf,
be a
land
half-
sea elf.
Surf and turf.
yeah,
There
yeah.
you go. Surf and turf is much better than half sea elf, half elf.
Oh,
Surf
Daryl
and
Hannah.
turf. Yeah,
But that's mine.
that's a Monday.
Okay. So, Rob, you only have one article left to do, so choose
two.
wisely. You
I got two
really
articles.
disappointed us all with that first papercraft one, so let's make your second one really
Okay,
count.
I'll do my good one then. We're gonna go page 86. Doctor Who.
Okay, yeah, someone had to do this.
This is once again by Margaret Weiss and Philip P. Bledsoe, the same people who did the BattleTech one, because this is FASA game now. This Doctor Who version is FASA. So I wonder once again if this is directly from the Doctor Who book. I do not have the FASA Doctor Who RPG, so I couldn't tell you. But it's interesting because it's like, oh, finally, all the Doctors in one place. Meanwhile, it's only 6 of them. Number 15 just got introduced, so it's not quite up to date.
No, I think is there a problem with your ability to read Roman numerals, or you don't know? There's only 10 regenerations in a Doctor. I'm sorry, Rob. So 15. There's something wrong. That doesn't.
Well, you have to watch the show to find out. But
What?
yeah. A lot of these descriptions, they have a description of every single Doctor, which is fun. Well, the first 6 Doctors. And I wish a lot of them were true, because they've changed the history so much that a lot of this is just wrong. There's so many bad retcons in Doctor Who, especially in the new Doctor Who, that a lot of this is thrown out the window. And some of it, I have no idea where it even came from in the first place. I don't know if they're just making it up, or it came from some fiction somewhere, or because there's some like first Doctor stuff that I'm like, that was never in the series. Yeah, but it is fun. They do a recap of all the different adventures for each of the Doctors, like real quick recaps, which is a little nostalgia trip. And yeah, there's a lot of conjecture that I don't know where it comes from. But once they get to 6, it's hilarious because at the time when this came out, 6 just got his first series was finished, and or his first series was done, and the second series, when this was written, was probably not finished yet. But he's like, yeah, I can't wait to see more adventures of the Doctor. Meanwhile, but when this magazine came out, that he was kicked out of being the Doctor. He was no longer the Doctor. So, so much for that. So it was instantly out of date. That's what happened here. And yeah, he was. The part on Doctor 6 is shortchanged in the magazine and also in real life. That's what I thought. So, because he didn't have much, he only had two series, and one was very short. So. And now in the Big Finish audiobooks, I guess he's got a big resurgence. He's gotten some actual redemption, not just a caricature. But compared to what you have nowadays, he wasn't that much of a caricature. So, yeah. Anyways, that's my Doctor Who.
This is the golden age of Doctor Who. Like this would be, if you were playing a Doctor Who game.
Well, I bet a lot of people.
At the time.
Is there a current Doctor Who game? I don't think there is. I'm amazed Modifius or someone doesn't have it. I don't think there is one right now. Maybe the licensing would just be a pain.
There might be.
I don't think so.
We're talking about RPG, right?
Yeah. Because I know of one. Like Star Trek definitely has a current one. Star Wars, does Star Wars have a current one? I don't think Star Wars has a current one either. Now I think about it.
Cubicle 7.
Cubicle 7? That's not a real one though, is it? Isn't that the fake one?
No, it's the Doctor Who role-playing game.
But is that recent?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It uses the vortex. It says it uses the vortex system.
That sounds like Doctor Who. But yeah, well, maybe there is a current Doctor Who RPG out there.
I'm not saying it's good, but Cubicle 7 sounds familiar. I think we would buy them.
Yeah, Cubicle 7 does something else too.
They have Warhammer. They got the Warhammer Fantasy role playing license.
That makes sense. It's a British company then, right?
Yeah, and they have Warhammer. They have Uncharted Journeys. Dude.
They're a British company. They've got Warhammer, Doctor Who. What else do they have? Darts, cricket.
Darts.
Break the stereotypes, people.
Broken Weave and Uncharted Journeys. I don't know what Uncharted Journey sounds familiar. Is that the old?
I've just isolated a whole country.
Yeah, the only thing they have is Warhammer Fantasy and 40K and Doctor Who. It looks like on their website. So,
and whatever this Uncharted Journeys is,
it's not on their website, so I don't know what it is.
It is on the website. You just clicked on it.
On Cubicle 7, I just looked at our games on their website. It doesn't list that.
Yeah, that's where I literally am at right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, we will maybe continue this conversation for a later date because we need to move along. So as long as Cubicle 7 work on the Cybermen, their backstory and their motivations is the one thing that I really was disappointed in Doctor Who. We can move on. So to me, I suppose. Let's go to page 40. 40.
Oh, this is one of mine, so we can.
You guys are all about the water.
That'll lessen my list.
Well, I wanted to a brief overview of the bestiary. It's got a bunch of stuff in it, but I wanted to. Yeah, it's got clams and fish and eels and all the standard stuff you'd find in the water. All very interesting. Your usage may vary, but I just wanted to bring up the centaur, the sea centaur. The picture being on the PDF 40, and the write up being on 41. And if they've got seahorses. I know they went with the hippocampus design, but isn't the seahorse just like right there? Imagine a sea centaur that had the bottom of
the curled part. Yeah,
maybe because the hippocampus was supposed to look like a horse.
It was. But I'm just thinking they missed a trick, and in my thinking,
Yeah, I thought the same thing too. Why not use a seahorse? But then they said the hippocampus, and I was like, well, the hippocampus was supposed to have the horse's legs. It's got a horse's head too, doesn't it?
yeah, which is it's supposed to be the
Seahorse.
send up of a seahorse. So, am I? Maybe I'm just going one too many jokes removed. Not jokes, but one too many references removed by making a seahorse centaur.
I think it would make more sense, but will that be realistic? I guess this is the unrealistic version.
Yeah,
I
What about water
suppose so.
horse? Water
I
horses
do.
are famous too. Like they're
I
like
do like
seals, kind of, aren't they?
yeah.
Well, so anyways, Pat, if there's any of these other
Just the sea titan was the only one I put down there.
okay, the Sea Titan, yes, which they do. He looks like the top half of the seahorse. He's got the same
Mhm.
gill fin frills, the faux hawk of a dorsal fin. Yeah, he'd wreck your day.
Yeah, 100%.
So what's his bottom half look like? Is it a fish bottom? Is he a merman or has he got legs?
I think he's got legs because it doesn't say anything about fins. His hands are webbed though.
I I think he has fins instead of legs, like just
Uh,
flappy fins.
No, because it says
no, it says
the
back legs.
spine's back,
Yeah,
back and legs.
yeah, he's got legs.
Oh, but he's got flippers for feet.
Yeah, there you go.
Fish
So
tails in place of
everyone's right.
legs. I think they've got fish tails.
Where does it say that?
No, it says extend down the creature's back and legs. So it says he has legs, unless it says two different things.
The lower body of the sea titan resembles a scaled pair of fish tails in
In
place of legs.
But why does it say he
Which-
has? But then later it says it goes down his legs. That's a mistake.
Yeah.
I don't know. So when I read it, in my mind I saw two carp-like fish things coming out of his torso.
He's got two instead of legs. He's got two fins, two fish tails.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's what I was thinking. But you're right; it does say back and legs, which
He should say back in fish tails.
Yeah.
yeah.
Weird. Yeah.
So yeah,
Anyways,
that's
Whoever
that's
whoever
the
illustrated
monsters.
this should have illustrated him underwater so we could truly see him.
Or
well,
maybe
they
not. That just
they
looks-
probably were like, yeah, that looks silly. Let's just do the upper half.
yeah. My mind palace right now is looking at something that's not shouldn't be put to pen to paper.
No.
It looks a little wrong,
Yeah.
like body horror.
It's having two sets of fish tails is kind of weird.
Yeah, like it's pretty Cronenberg all up in this piece right now. So, so yes,
Wow.
so I wanted a different seahorse, and Pat wanted a guy that didn't have two carps for legs. It looks like none of us are getting what we want this article. So that's it for articles. So that's two of them we brought up. I think we've covered all the bases.
Pat, do you have another?
We didn't cover page 34 though.
34.
34.
No, why would we?
Because it's in
'Cause it's the
ecology. He has to do
of a
ecology.
minotaur.
It's a good picture.
Oh,
This is an ecology not by Dr. Greenwood. This is written in the words of a captured merchant who was enslaved by the Minotaurs.
by
and he
Anthony
wrote down his
Gerard.
Yeah, Gernard. But he wrote, but the merchant wrote down his observations of life in the Minotaur tribe. One of the things he said, despite having a bovine head, the Minotaurs are carnivores. I didn't realize that they were carnivores.
Makes
I had in
sense.
my head that they were eating grass.
dungeon grass.
Those are cowators, not minotaurs.
Yeah, cowators. But they're also full adults in 10 years. But they can fight. They're able to hold their own against an orc at 1.
Jesus.
Twins are considered holy, and minotaurs are polygamous. So bulls have quite a bit of a harem going on.
Makes sense. That's kind of what bulls are for.
But bulls who are killed in a challenge, the left horn is taken as a trophy, which is kind of a cool idea.
That'd be neat to see, like a
So
one
you're
horned
judged.
minotaur
You're judged by how many horns you have.
left.
Otherwise, game wise, they're not too much for them. Otherwise, they're very good at tracking, and because of their sense of smell, they have a very high chance of detecting invisible characters. So,
I think minotaurs, aside from the mythological roots, for some reason really do strike at people's imaginations. Like everyone kind of knows what a minotaur is. Like I don't know why they have a big like people like a minotaur.
Maybe it's because
So
it is easy to see a bull on a bull's head on a human. It's like it's easy to do and easy to picture.
yeah.
It's,
and I
this is
suppose
it's the wrestler Mantar. That's why.
I mean,
Yeah.
as far as ecology goes, it wasn't a bad ecology, but it's no excerpt from the Dr. Greenwood Chronicles.
Yeah,
that's a high bar.
Yeah.
it's a good picture. That's a freaky deaky minotaur right there.
So,
Yeah, I'm glad they went full color on that. That deserves the that's a good picture. Even like when in your mind when you think of a minotaur, you go, "Oh, okay, maybe I didn't think of it that way," but that's a nasty looking beast.
Is he peeing himself there? Or oh, that's from his cup. There's like a yellow trail behind him.
I assume that's olive oil, but I have no
Ah.
reason to believe.
I think it's mead.
Oh,
Olive oil makes sense though. He's shining up his armor.
but it could just also be.
You're assuming he's a Greek minotaur.
Assuming he's a he.
I would
He
assume.
could be.
I
he
think
could
they're all
be,
he's.
He could be a Viking or Norse minotaur.
I would assume he's from Minos.
They have to be. It's like you're not allowed to have minotaurs outside of Champagne. I heard the Champagne region in
Yes,
France.
outside of Minos, he's just a bubbling cowman.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. So, Rob, what article did we miss on yours? And
71. It's
that's
the role.
your second article.
Yeah, my second article is on 71. It's the role of computers because they talk about Dragonfire 2. We've seen the ad a few times. We're always wondering what it is, and well, this review doesn't really tell us what it is that much. It seems like it's some kind of organizer for games, which we assumed, and they talk about like by today's standards, obviously it's super clunky, like it's all text based But back then it was pretty probably cutting edge. Although I think in a future one we see some actual menus, one that's similar to this but has menus. But it seems like it do basic monster attacks for the DM and stuff like that even, which is interesting. But like I say, this review is so poorly written. It's really long and it's so poorly written you can't tell what they're talking about. He goes into all the like the minutia without telling you what the actual program does.
And computers were not unbulky back then, so
yeah, you have to have a computer where you're playing the game, I guess. Yeah.
Is it that everyone kind of knew what Dragonfire was, and to explain it?
No, they're talking about it's like a beta that they just got in, so they should be explaining a little bit better.
We just saw an ad for Dragonfire 2.0.
Yeah, this is the beta that they got to review, though.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they really should tell you right off the bat in a review what this program exactly does. Instead, he goes into like what, or he or she, because I think it's two different people, Hartley and Patty Lasser. They go into like details of like all the different command lines thing, and it's like I don't need to know that. It's a review. Tell me what the program does. Tell me if it does it well.
I remember command line filters. Remember that?
And then the other one in here is Bard's Tale, which is a classic. So that's like one of the first real adventure games, I think, Bard's Tale. So
Bard's Tale onto Ultima.
Oh, yeah. It was that same world, too, wasn't it?
No.
Oh, I thought it was.
Two different ones.
There was one that had the same as Ultima. I can't remember what it is now. Yeah, anyways. So if you've ever used Dragonfire, please comment below and let us know what it actually does. And the limitations of it, because that's another thing that one thing they did say about when it can do basic monster attacks, but it says if they do anything special like fire damage or acid damage, you have to do that separately. It's like, well, kind of defeats the purpose of it. I guess the programmers could only go too far, but
yeah, we're talking most primitive of programming. Yeah, so I guess we still do not know exactly what the Dragonfire does. We have our suspicions.
Yeah, we have suspicions, but yeah. So please let us know exactly what it does. And what we know, it can do basic monster attacks because they mentioned that in the article, but that's it. I know what the command lines do, but that doesn't really explain what it does. Anyways, that's my last article. Jack,
All
do you
right,
have another
so
article?
I have a second article still.
Jack, what if Jack has another article?
No, I did mine. Somehow did I skip you at one point, Pat? Like, did I just do two in a row?
I think you did.
I didn't think you did all yours, and then you just left us to rot, Jack. What happened there? Did you have a little kind of brain aneurysm or something? You just kept
I went
talking.
into a fugue state.
That's right.
I just took over. I thought that it was Dragon's Tome was my
A solo
show.
adventure, yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean,
at some point,
if we're done with articles, I still have my second article to go with.
Okay, what's your
okay.
article?
Go to page 68.
Oh, we're right here. I can just scroll up.
Yeah, High Ones, Ancient Ones. If you're a huge
I knew you'd
Elfquest
pick this one.
fan,
Yep. I left this
like
one for you.
me,
Yeah.
these rules are how to create the High Ones. If you know what a High One is, in the world of ElfQuest, the world of Two Moons, the High Ones are the parent race of the two tribes of elves on that world.
When two tribes go to war?
The two tribes go to war. But I will say in the beginning of this article, there's a disclaimer that these are not official rules and were written without the permission of Chaosium.
Yeah,
since they own
and Warp
ElfQuest.
graphics, yeah.
So I thought it's just cool if you played ElfQuest or you're a big fan that they give you a set of rules here to create the race that quote unquote died out.
They never mentioned that disclaimer for any other game. I wonder if it's because Chaosium got pissy about deities and demigods. I wonder if they're like, well, we better cross our T's here because Chaosium could be
maybe.
I wonder if that's it.
It's
or that they're getting more because didn't they just put out a Hawkmoon one too? Like they're
there's
out
tons
more
of
and
Chaosium
more.
have a lot of games. Yeah,
What was the RPG they just lost?
like in today's day.
No, it was an ad. They had it before, and they weren't doing it and someone else had it. Was it West End Games or Avalon Hill?
I think it was. Were we thinking of Star Trek or one of those that West End take over or Star Wars?
Mm-hmm.
Were we thinking of Boulder Dash, the game of dice-based word shenanigans?
I didn't know if
it doesn't show up on the Chaosium thing anymore.
Well, I know they have
Judge Dredd. It was Judge Dredd.
Was it Chaosium had Judge Dredd for a bit?
I think so.
Oh, I don't. No, that was GW had Judge Dredd, didn't they? Or did they get Judge? I don't know. Anyways,
they get Judge Dredd, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Enough about high elves.
If you can remember what we were talking about, Chaosium lost.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think this might be into that. But again, I thought it was really cool creating a high one.
It's funny. Look at this character stats for this game: is strength, constitution, size, intelligence, power, dexterity. It's very similar. They didn't stray too far from the D&D.
Well, these are almost all the Call of Cthulhu same stats too.
Yeah, similar. Yeah.
So it's more similar to Call of Cthulhu than
Call of Cthulhu's percentile, though, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, these are still 2d6 and there's all different numbers. It's weird.
Yeah, D10, D3s.
But it is telling that the disclaimer that this is done unsanctioned was not done by the authors, but by the the Dragon magazine itself.
Yep.
In that they had to, we're going to publish this, but A, we didn't write it, and B,
it's not official.
It's not official.
Do they? Yeah, I'm trying to think if we've seen anyone that's not TSR have an article. Maybe that's it. I was thinking Traveler, but there isn't many Travelers articles. In Gamma World, all those are all TSR games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if this is like the first non-TSR game that's been in this magazine article for.
No, it can't be.
I know, but I'm trying to think of one.
I can't think of one either. It might be.
That's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah,
Anyways, let's talk about the ElfQuest guys. I never read the comic. I was never into elves.
No, the art style I would see all the time, and to me was off-putting, and I'm sure there's...
It is.
I'm sure there's a lot of lore, and it's well done, and I know it's got like manga, like...
volumes.
But for me, it was...
It is, because the elves almost look like hobbits to me. It always confused my aesthetic.
Well, whoever wrote these, Sandy, I forget her name now. The
I don't
author of
remember.
ElfQuest, they went the opposite direction where elves were tiny,
Yeah,
and trolls were big, and humans were big.
kind of makes sense. Like, I guess it's Tolkien elves that the TSR kind of went after the tall elves.
Yeah,
But like,
Right, right.
but when you
Rather
think
than
of like
say a
Shakespearean
Nordic
elves,
elf.
or Shakespearean elves, they're all small. So
or those Nordic elves.
that's what Jack said.
I wish someone would have said that before. Okay. Well, yes, the ancient ones. The
Do you have anything else to say about
they're
it?
all dead. They're all dead. So why do you
No.
need to make them?
I just thought it was really cool, and the disclaimer. I mean, there's not much to talk about because I've never really played the ElfQuest game, so I don't know. I can't talk about the mechanics.
It just allows you to play this elder race in the
Yeah.
game.
I wonder how much version of that would cost. We may never know.
I
bet-
bet. Still have it.
I bet. I bet.
I think Chaosium still has it.
No, I don't think so. I've not. That's a license that I think's many years gone by. But
yeah, is ElfQuest even a thing anymore?
I don't think they make new ones.
I don't see it in the zeitgeist. I don't see it out.
No, it was
and-
I really saw it in like the 80s and 90s, but after that, I think it's I haven't seen it much in the 2000s. So who knows? It's like what Bone and Cerebus, those things kind of took over from ElfQuest. I feel. And,
89 was the last edition. It was the second
yeah,
edition.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's those kind of like indie books that became huge. ElfQuest was like the beginning of that. So
So I'm no
interesting.
lawyer, but much like Steamboat Willie, I think you can make
2089, you can.
any kind of ElfQuest thing you want.
Well,
go
you
ahead.
could. You just can't call it ElfQuest. It's just elves.
No, I think so.
I'm gonna call
I'm no lawyer, but I think just go ahead.
You're no Southern lawyer.
Pointy-eared seeker.
I ain't no Southern lawyer.
So nothing else to say about this. Jack, do you have any more articles?
No, I'm done. Yeah, I did my two. I did my due diligence.
I just did my second, so I'm done.
Oh, I do have another one. Jeez, I just noticed it. It's a real quick one because I only wrote this is before you even see this. This is what my notes on is. It says super racist. So let's go to page 100.
Are we talking the comic?
Yes, we are.
Oh, I
I
had hoped to avoid this on my show. We didn't need to go
Oh
here.
man, I was like,
At the
what
top
the?
of the show, at the top of the show, I said, "Let's avoid everything racist," hoping that you'd have the common decency.
Well, I just was like so shocked when it
page?
came. Page 102. It's a dragon eating samurai, and it says they sure taste good, but after 2 hours, I'm hungry again. Funny, but racist. Especially the depictions of the samurai is super racist.
Well, first of all, it's the wrong kind of food.
Yeah, that's Japanese,
they-
not Chinese.
It's racist on different levels.
That's right. It's so racist that they got it wrong. That's funny.
Which as a parody of racism would be funny, but
No, that person just didn't
I know.
understand the difference between Chinese and Japanese.
like they go full on teeth. They go full on.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
my
you
issue.
gotta-
Is the faces. I was like,
They
holy
could use
mackerel.
monks and everything. Oh yeah, they did the teeth.
Yeah, it was like, oh my
Yeah.
god. Yeah, this is 1986, people. This isn't the 70s anymore. You can't get away with this stuff. Like that's
Yeah.
bad.
And even in the 80s, because there was, is there a victim here in that? It was waning. You couldn't
Yeah.
do that now today for sure. But
No, even then,
1986
it was like, ooh, no,
It
that's wrong.
probably
I think
The joke you could probably gotten away with if you didn't put the eyes. In the
yeah, that's right. I think the joke's fine because that's a joke on the food, not on the people. It's the caricatures of Japanese people, which is the wrong people. That's the issue.
yes.
But
So to workshop this, if it was Godzilla in a modern Tokyo with businessmen, is
Or-
that racist?
or Japanese schoolgirls. No,
Because,
as long
yeah,
as you don't
it's
do
still-
caricatures. I think that's the
I
issue.
would say
still the wrong-
I would say slightly yes because
Oh, the
it's
joke's
wrong-
not that. You couldn't say the joke. The joke doesn't make sense. What you have to do is have a Chinese dragon eating eating
Some
monks,
monks.
monks or even like or Chinese peasants, but because the joke it makes sense even without the caricature, I think, right? Like you know what he means, So,
Yeah.
anyways, I think the dragon's really cool. It's a cool like stylized dragon, but it's yeah. Sorry, buddy. Sorry, Bruce or whatever your name is. You're racist.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, enough of that. I just noticed that when I scrolled down to see my ads, that it was like, oh, I have something else.
And we could have avoided the whole thing. We could
I
have.
think it's important to talk about these things.
Okay, you're shining the light on the cockroaches of
That's right.
the past, of comedy past.
Because the rest of them aren't very funny. I read the rest.
No.
Born Again
One of them I
Zombies.
didn't. One of them I did not understand at all. And
Which
if
one's that?
anything, it would have been an absurdist. It's showing what thought bubbles coming out of hills and thought bubbles coming out of a cave, and it's like I wanted to be fierce like my father. I wanted to be.
Oh, it's a dragon, I guess, but the person just couldn't draw a dragon.
Draw a dragon, but then could you?
No, he's a whale.
That,
I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know.
is there a whale in that cave, and that's why it's funny, or is it just a dragon?
It didn't make sense. I agree.
No, I would. Yeah,
and God spanking someone is kind of weird. That's a little fetish.
Yeah.
Or Zeus. Anyways, ads.
You want to be dominated by a deity? You want to be a daddy domed by a deity? just be a bad boy.
Pat, get us out of here.
I'm
not in charge of this.
I don't think we're going to do ads. I think we got to get out of here. This is earned.
We have an ad.
Okay, then how about Pat? We'll start with you. You do your ad. Rob,
47.
do yours, and I'll finish up, and we'll get out of here without hopefully causing any stirs.
What page?
47 then.
47. Which one?
It's the dungeon. It's an ad for Dungeon, needing more dungeons for the Dungeon magazine.
The Dungeon magazine.
So they took all the made adventures out of Dragon to create a new magazine because it was taking too much space. But now they realize they don't have enough adventures to fill a Dungeon magazine.
Yeah, what is it? I think it's a quarterly, but it's got like 3 in there or something. Yeah. Well, if you're interested, there's the information. If you want to write a module,
you have to send in for the guidelines because you have to have guidelines. There are guidelines for it.
Please do contact. I would love to know who has PO Box 110 in Lake Geneva today, because they're getting.
The manila envelopes must stack up very high, full of typewritten transcripts of dungeons and fantasy dwellings.
That would be an interesting, like, if for like one of those rich YouTubers, just to go around and find all these old like places and find who has them now and talk to the people. That'd be a funny show.
That would be a funny shoare
like you just like go around to all the old PO boxes from like all the old ads, like the old what are they called?
You could call it PU boxes and go to. No, that's not funny. We can do better. We can workshop a better name.
Well, we're not doing. We don't have the money to travel around the United States to go to all these PO boxes, so we're not doing it. No. If we have a benefactor who wants to support this new show, we'll give you any money we make from this show. We'll definitely give you a percentage. So, or one of us maybe win a lottery. Who knows?
Would it be the fun awkwardness of interviewing, say, like Maud Jones, who repeatedly says, I didn't know that was a thing. No, I don't know. I've
never gotten anything from it.
Yeah, I own a salon. There's no reason anyone would be sending me requests for my self-help book. Like,
and you just leave it in your wake, because all the people on YouTube after that would start sending stuff. You'd just be leaving in your chaos in your wake as you bring these things.
Leave, and then people would then all of a sudden be, yes, Zitar sounds amazing. Your music has inspired me. Thank you. Please send me. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
now that we've created a whole new show that we can't afford to do, let's move on.
No. I can't even get my "Is it a dwarf? Is it a gnome?" Podcast off the ground. So
Yeah, that would be a lot of fights.
there would be way too many fights, like this ad in particular. But we will not. We've had too many side quests on this. We've too many. We
Those are
must
gnomes.
go on.
Those are
So,
definitely gnomes.
Rob,
Page 3.
page 3. That's always the good one. That's
It's
always the good one.
not really. Page 2 is usually the good one, but page 3 is Hero Games, which is the Ice system. It's Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth. But it has something called Robot Warriors. Never even heard of this, but it's the latest from Hero Games. This role-playing and battle game features giant humanoid combat robots. Take a part of a robot pilot and direct your 100-ton robot through a scarred battlefield of future Earth. This is a giant mech game that I've never heard of, and now I'm intrigued. It was $15 at the time. That's expensive.
Robot Warriors.
Yeah.
Well, a quick Google search. You might.
Well,
be
I can just
surprised
going to
that-
write P.O. Box 1605, Charlottesville, Virginia. I'm just going to write them and ask them. So.
And please, I am interested in Robot Warriors. Could you please send me a catalog, perhaps some sort of promotional pamphlet?
I wonder if Iron Crown Enterprises is even still around.
It is.
think-
It says
is
Robot Warriors failed to find an audience and was rapidly discontinued.
How dare they?
Someone, game historian Shannon Applecline, pointed out that Robot Warriors had no chance against Fast's Battletech and Palladium's Robotech.
Well, those had the... but what about Mechton? Mechton's still around, and that was the same idea. So I think that person's on shaky ground.
Well, maybe the game just wasn't making itself,
Well, like, if I've never heard of it, it's never a good sign, right?
Yeah. If it's in a glut of a certain genre, if you don't, make some waves and really get seen, it's very easy just to.
Iron Crown continues to produce products for its Rollmaster and high adventure role playing HARP line.
Yeah, there you go. So Rollmaster is still kicking, but no Robot Warriors. Once again, we'll have to see if there's a... next time we're in Games Plus, we'll have to see if there's a Robot Warriors in the Ice section.
Rapidly discontinued.
I bet that's super rare. I'm curious how many were actually produced. Anyways, that was my ad. Jack, did you say your ad? No.
No, not yet. We're gonna round it out with my ad.
Sure.
Let's see here. Page 107. 107.
Ooh, one end to the other. We're jumping. Batman.
We have Shadows in Gotham. Is that the name? We don't know because it says Night in Gotham. One of them's the name. I know which one. Took me a while to figure it out. This is it's a wild paragraph of setting the scene here for what is essentially a Batman expansion.
Yeah, because when DC Heroes started, they started with the Titans and things. They never had any of the big people, so they're finally moving into Batman. You'd think you start with Batman. Maybe not.
I don't know because, like everything, Batman wanes and comes. Like you can name the big ones that you go, okay, it's cool to like them, and then all of a sudden it's like, ugh, really? Wolverine? Ugh, you're one of those. You're a normie. You should be. Why aren't you following someone else? I don't know, but either way, this is the streets of Gotham where Batman's going to bring about change.
Well,
and
I think the first thing he has to change is poor Solomon Grundy's drunk on the street here.
Yeah. I don't remember the drinks whiskey on a Wednesday part of the rhyme. It's been a while.
That definitely looks like Solomon Grundy, but he has a paper bottle with a paper bag with a bottle there. If I missed something of his backstory, otherwise it's just some bum who's drinking. And why is he in this ad?
Yeah,
because that's the sad state of affairs in Gotham.
Batman's too busy fighting the big stuff. He's the little man still left behind because he could have been using his money to save the poor. Instead, he's wasting it on gadgets to fight Joker. Is that what you're saying, Jack?
No, I was
Oh,
gonna say it goes into like, oh, there's organized crime everywhere, and there's a. I think it would be harder to depict organized crime as a nebulous. It's easier to show,
they could have
you
shown
know,
that guy with a Tommy gun or
urban.
something.
ur- Yeah, I suppose so. Depending on who they have in this supplement for like
Yeah,
the rogues gallery of villains, I
Falcone.
suppose some henchmen that look vaguely like,
Unless it's a super serious treatise on the like you say, the decay in Gotham. Maybe this book is it's not just a fluff book about Batman. Maybe it's serious.
we'll never know. But
We'll never know.
Shadows
I
in
actually might have
Gotham,
it.
Night in Gotham.
I have a
You pick
bunch
your
of DC
poison.
superheroes, but I don't think I have this one. I have a bunch of them, but I don't think I have this one. Maybe. I haven't looked through them in a long time. They're probably buried somewhere. I don't even know where they are.
Well, I think as a group, the Dragon's Tome hopes that Solomon Grundy, you get the help you need,
Yeah.
Yes.
and yeah,
I mean, it looks
Can
like
you-
he's passed out, but it could also be that Batman knocked him out, and that's where he slumped against the wall.
And it's just coincidence there's a bottle in the bag right there.
Yeah.
Solomon Grundy is
actual-
also a zombie. Can he get drunk?
the actual homeless man that was sitting there is now pinned
Squished.
beneath Solomon Grundy's body.
They should just sew some legs. And... oh, that's so sad.
Help me! Yeah.
Help me.
Okay, well, I think that wraps it up. We've
Pat, do you have any more ads?
Nope, I'm out.
Hey, for once we actually did one ad each. It's a miracle,
At
Jack.
least now you're admitting to your crimes. You've saved Batman a trip this shadowy night. So I guess, what do you say? We wrap this one up.
Yep.
Wrap it up.
Like, share, subscribe. We love the comments. There's almost always a comment to every single episode, so we try to respond to them all. So, except for Jack. Jack says, "Screw you guys. I'm not talking to you."
One day I'll figure out how to use the internet, and then you'll all be sorry. My particular brand of humor does not go over well, and I will probably be banned for life when the internet police get to me. But one day,
One day.
yes. So, Jean Valjean, was that? Were you doing a Les Mis reference there, Patrick?
No.
Oh, okay. I misfire. One day, or is that? Yeah, that's Les Mis. Anyways, this has been the Dragon's Tome.
There was a lot of
get outta here.
non sequiturs in this episode. I hope
Yes,
you
we
enjoyed
did.
it.
This was sporadic. We
Yes, sir.
got to tighten this up. Who's running next week?
Patrick, I think.
No.
Oh, you better run a tighter
Iron
ship
Fist,
than
baby. Iron Fist.
Well,
Iron
this
Fist.
was the longest episode I think we've ever done. So,
Yeah.
Well, we tangented big time this time.
I guess we did.
but contact us if you're interested in our PO Box show.
Okay. Wrap it up.
Bye bye.
Okay, bye bye. That's one way to wrap it up.
Bye-bye.